Hello, and thank you for joining us on Meet the Manager. Today I have Sid, also known as Los Galacticos. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Sid, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, finally. We were able to make it here. It's a late night recording pod, but glad to be on the show.
Yeah. It's funny we've been chatting a little bit, and I was trying to get you and Bob on at the same time to just kind of talk about first experiences with Diamond, and scheduling has been a bit of a challenge. But the irony is, I was telling you earlier today, Kev had initially suggested chatting with you and trying to get you on months ago. And I remember it was months ago. I didn't remember how much. I went back into the Discord chat, and it was early July, between early July and early August. He asked me 4 times, "When are you gonna have Sid on?" And the funny thing about that was, the time you and I weren't really talking, um, just didn't really know each other that well. And part of what I was trying to do was, and still trying to do, is have people on that I know a little bit about, even if we don't know each other that well, so that I kind of have some pointed questions and some direction, and wanted to get a little bit more familiar with you before I had anybody on. But so the irony of that is, you've made it a diamond this year, and I feel like you're kind of the talk of the town, the MFL town, as you've kind of broke through. But shout out to Kev for getting it right again, and seeing you all the way back in July, and saying you got to have Sid on. So kind of funny. I thought that was a bit ironic.
I remember Kev mentioning it to me as well, and I was traveling quite a bit back then, and I was listening to the Ramble pod, and I used to have these 4 or 5 hour drives, and Ramble was like my go-to for or during these long trips. And
Yeah.
I remember hearing to the specific episode when you were on. And I remember the same thing. I mean, Kev was pinging me right after that, and I was like, "You got to get in touch with Ryan, and you guys got to get on a pod together." But yeah, I mean, glad we were able to make it work finally. And yeah, perfect timing. I mean, sitting on top of the Diamond League, I mean, what could go wrong, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, everything's working out really well this season, and have a lot of lucky stars shining on the team, I guess. But yeah, let's dive deeper and talk a bit about the squad and the rest of the agency as well.
Yeah. I do want to interject. I think giving Luck all of the credit to your run this first half of the year is probably not accurate. I think you're being a little bit humble there, but we'll come back a bit more to some of the strategy and tactics and planning. So one of the questions I always like to ask as we introduce new people is, where are you from?
So I'm originally from India. So if you look at my agency, you'll notice some recent club license acquisitions based out of India. My hometown is very close to Chennai. So that's why I got I had one license up until I think 48 hours back. And Kev was like, "Hey, there's the second license which went up on the marketplace." And he kind of had me turn into a degen and pull the trigger on that. But yeah, I'm originally from India, and I've been in the US for 16 years now.
Okay.
And I live very close to NYC. I won't say NYC, but very close to NYC.
We were chatting. I was poking fun at Bob, and we'll leave that a bit of an inside joke. But poking a little bit of fun at Bob. I knew you were close to NYC. I didn't know how close. One of the questions I prepared, uh, I thought the question might go awry, but one of the questions that I kind of had was thinking was, if you had a free day to kind of explore and hang out in NYC, what would you do, or how would you spend it?
I would probably drive towards the south. I'd rather do that than head into the city for a stroll. I'm really a greenery kind of guy. I want a lot of open spaces to explore and whatnot. So I'm definitely not a, a city loving guy. So yeah, let's leave it at that.
Yeah, so you'd head my way. I was telling you, I we typically will visit New York once a year around September during the tennis tournament, um, and so it's a contrast for me. I'm normally in the greenery, and then that's my end of the city, and we're there for a couple of days, and then I'm back home to my comfort zone. but there's a couple fun spots. I really like Chelsea Market, the High Line. I guess I still chase a little bit of greenery on the High Line, and some fun stuff. But I knew the answer might be if I have a free day, I'm not going to New York. That's what I'm doing. I knew that might be a bit of a fun question, but I imagine as we have viewers from or listeners from all around the world that they might want a little slice of New York.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to love to go to the city. I mean, this was again early days, right? The first like 4 or 5 years when I was here, and yeah, I mean, definitely grew tired of it. So I would rather uh, drive towards wherever there's a lot of greenery and a lot of open space around.
Yeah. Yep. Some more fun kind of traditional questions. Favorite sports team?
Real Madrid. I don't follow a lot of sports based out of North America or the US.
Yep.
But I do watch a lot of soccer slash football, whatever we want to call it. But Real Madrid in and out. I do like uh, Manchester United a bit when it comes to the Premier League. Obviously, can't say it out loud because uh, it's it's the team which is subject to so much trolling and memeing around and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, since I want to say like 2006, 7 ish, I've been an ardent Real Madrid fan. So uh, been following the team quite a bit, and every summer while they're here for the preseason or the Club World Cup, which started just this year, I
Yeah.
try to catch up at least one of their games if it's on the East Coast.
Where where did you see them here for the Club World Cup?
Yeah, so this summer was, I mean, unluckily against PSG, they ended up getting hammered. But yeah, that was the last time I went to a live Real Madrid game. But yeah, the most memorable one was, I believe, this was the 2017 Clasico in Miami, Hard Rock Stadium.
Okay.
And I believe that was Neymar's farewell game before he ended up signing for PSG.
Yeah.
So the atmosphere was electric. Uh, I think a lot of people knew that he was going to leave. So it was kind of a farewell
Yeah.
scenario, and it was a great game. I mean, Madrid ended up losing, I believe, 3-2. But yeah, I mean, that was my first and only Clasico till date. So yeah, hopefully I can catch up on a couple more soon. But that was my like best live game experience so far with regards to Madrid.
Yeah. That's awesome. So if we do or when we do a North America meetup, MFL meetup, uh, where should we have it?
I mean, I was listening to the Big Wilbert pod just a while back, and he was mentioning, hey, we should be catching up during one of the World Cup games next year. That will be cool. And yeah, I really love that idea. And I was, in fact, just getting my lottery entry in like last week. This was the day of the Ramble pod when the Visa pre-approved whatever the entry was open. Yeah, I mean, if we can catch up probably in the MetLife Stadium or any one of the stadiums for a random game, that'll be cool. And again, timing wise, I think it kind of works out. It's the next summer. Hopefully, have some time to plan around it as well. So yeah, any one of the live World Cup games, MFL catch up, and yeah, it'll be a great what I call. I mean, not getting the word right here, but yeah, if we can get like 20-25 managers together, uh, watching a game, that'll be a great go to.
For sure. I think as well, I would imagine that like the timing around we'll have we'll have games. Like if we're at a football bar, we'll have games on all the time, which would be a blast to go and hang and uh, you know, watch some of the world's best. So yeah, a couple of great ideas around World Cup. So hopefully we can make that happen. Somebody needs to start like putting their foot down and saying, all right, we're doing it here, we're doing it this time, we're meeting up here. The Airbnb is this. We're gonna have blow dryers. We can't have any hairdo issues this year. We got to be prepared. But yep. If we did it worldwide, where would be your pick outside of North America?
I mean, I can think of quite a few. I mean, anywhere in Europe to start off with, to be honest. France would be amazing. I know they had one in Paris recently, right? I mean, if we can have another one probably sometime in the future, I'll definitely try to make that. Uh, Spain as well, Netherlands, again, I mean, you name it. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful countries to visit. So, yeah, any one of the, uh, like, again, green destinations, let's put it that way.
Fair enough. Netherlands would be an interesting shout. There's actually quite a large Netherlands community in the game. I don't think the Netherlands gets that credit. Everyone talks about the U.S., England, and then the French community. And there's quite a bit in Netherlands. As I go through managers, I see a lot of people from Netherlands. So Netherlands would be cool. I took a vacation a couple weeks back, and um, I talked about we went to New Belgium, which has a heavy like pedal biking culture tied with it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um, and obviously they reference Belgium, but Netherlands having the pedal biking community as well would be fun to pedal around Netherlands and wherever we end up and kind of hang out. So
that'll be
um,
good.
uh, additionally, I think you went through this on Ramble, so I don't want to go too deep. But can you give us kind of a quick origin story on how you found MFL and kind of how it all started?
Yeah, I believe it was one of the Quinny's streams or videos. I have a decent enough like a Sorare gallery, so I used to I mean, still follow Quinny, Laird, obviously, right? So, and I believe MFL was thrown around like a couple of times. And initially, I didn't pay a lot of attention to what it was because there were quite a few like fantasy sport games or Web3 games that were coming up. I think Ulti Champs was one. So I was like, okay, so this might be another fantasy game. I got enough interest vested in Sorare, so let me just focus on that. But
Yeah,
I believe I ran into a gameplay or a live game that he was streaming. I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I didn't know that this was a football manager-esque type of game. So I started doing a little bit of research, and then I ran into Ramble, obviously, and I used to follow SR Monkey quite a bit as well for Sora reasons. And I think he started getting involved around the October November timeframe. So my first club license purchase was, I believe, around mid December of last year. So this was about a month after I started getting involved into the Ramble side of things on Discord. So yeah, that was kind of my origin story.
was Galacticos the first club purchased?
Uh, Good question. I don't know. I think so. Yes. There were two clubs I initially purchased. One I believe was, or the first one very well could be Galacticos, and the next one was my own license that I ended up buying from the official store that I recently traded with another Madrid-based location. But yeah, I mean, Galacticos, which was then a bronze license, was my first purchase.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, December 17th. I have that further down in the
Awesome.
notes. I was
Right.
doing a bit of research. Yeah, actually, it's the next note that I have. So perfect segue. I need to pay better attention. So yeah, purchased in December, and it was a bronze team. It had just gotten promoted up from Iron. I was trying to figure out where they started when you bought them,
Mhm.
and saw that they started at Iron, but you bought them. It looked like you bought them in the season that they were getting promoted. So when you first bought it, how ambitious were you? Kind of what was your thought process when you first bought it? Did you have aspirations of going all the way to the top from the very beginning?
Diamond, absolutely not. I wasn't even like giving a thought about Diamond back then. Right, I knew that there were these light crop of managers with amazing agencies with 95, 94 rated players back then. I don't think we had Ultimate back in season one or season two. I think that transition happened around season three-ish or maybe even season four. But yeah, there were a lot of mid 90 rated players. I was like, oh wow, I mean, I may want one of them one day. So that was the initial thought. But when I was looking at the uh, power curve, my idea was let's plan ahead for a season or a couple of seasons, right? So shoot for season four, and I want it to be somewhere at the top of silver or mid-table gold. So that's what I was hoping for. I believe I had a couple of Legos that I purchased during my first season in bronze, and that was way ahead of the power curve back then. I think around 80 to 83 average was considered pretty solid back in S2. And I had my goalkeeper, D. Santana, who's still in my agency. I believe he was then an 86 rated goalkeeper. I That was my first big buy, and then I got this center midfielder, Gutierrez, who is 85 rated CM. I don't think I have him in the agency anymore, but those two were my first big purchases. So the idea was, let's get up to gold if possible, or try to be top three or top four in silver, and earn as much rewards as possible, and then gradually start shooting up into gold.
Pulling up your bronze days, your season one. Yeah, and I just
Uh,
very quick glance. Man, it's funny. The bronze team on the left here that you played looks like a stone team now. It's crazy to compare it to the power curve. This team is a little bit better than my stone team that's bottom of the table, which is more my tactics than power curve. Yeah, I think Lego here and a couple other guys teetering on the Lego. A season or two, so you were kind of thinking, we'll get up into the gold area, maybe push a little higher, um, and go from there. Did you feel like you grasped tactics and just the game in general pretty quickly, or did it kind of come one step at a time?
it was definitely more of a learning process. I mean, the first couple of seasons, I was like, the idea was to build a 23, 24 man squad with like for like replacement for each of the positions, right? Whenever you get into the 92, 93 stamina level, you could just plug the replacement guy in, just a little bit of drop in quality, but you have a big squad to run the games, kind of similar to what actual football teams do in real life. But then a season later, a couple of seasons later, I slowly started realizing, I mean, wasn't capitalizing on XP as much as I should. And some of these backup pieces weren't really progressing much because of the limited game time that they were getting. So if there were, let's say, 8 games or 30 games as part of one season, some of these players were getting 6 games or 7 games each. That wasn't ideal at all. So then I was starting to think, so what is the best strategy here? And the next move was, let's try to get one or two multi-utility players. Like you have a right back, a left back in the squad, and the third person would be able to play both right back and left back so he can fill in. So that way, everyone gets 66% of the games instead of 35%. So that was a kind of effective. But again, when I looked at the market, the demand for those players were really high. Uh, some of them were nearly like double. For example, I mean, right back, left back was a perfect example in this scenario. I was looking at a 23-year-old, I believe he was 82 rated, and he was like $220. It was crazy because it was about 150% off the player who would be just dedicated or playing in one position. That didn't work out. I was like, okay, so the demand is higher. The market is not really supplying those kind of cards or players either. So I started thinking and started doing a little bit of research into these top teams. And I was seeing managers running 16, 17 member squads, and their fitness levels would stay at 93, 94 and not drop below that. And it took a little bit of time for me to figure out that they were running multiple formations with different positional players. And then I started to kind of put together a 17, 18 member squad who can run or who will be able to play 4 or 5 different setups. And that's slowly started evolving into, let's monitor the opponents. What are they playing? What can we counter them with? Uh, and how do we effectively use this 18 member squad to counter those formations? So you're optimizing your resources as much as possible. It is really helping you to counter your opponent's tactics. So it's a win-win scenario. So from season 2, where I had like 24 members, to season 5 where I just had 16 or 17, but we're still able to effectively play these multi-positional or multi-formational setups help quite a bit.
Yeah. Um, you mentioned that you were looking at some of the teams, the top teams, and trying to pull inspiration from them. Um, were you at that point in time? Were you chatting with other managers? Were you bouncing ideas off of Kev or Bob or White House or anybody else, kind of chatting about some of that theory with them, or were you kind of just theory crafting off what you were seeing?
At that point, I think, I mean, Kev was definitely my go-to in terms of like bouncing ideas or tactics or setups, whatever it is. If something comes up MFL related, Kev was my go-to guy. And
Yeah,
Joe as well, Kodap, I mean, shout out to him. And I think he joined about the same time as I did. Uh, so anything like a new buy or a potential target or scouting of an opponent. So Kev and Kodap were my go-to guys. So we probably like chatted multiple hours over these last 8 months or so. And then I found some like great mates in the community. I mean, White House with regards to how to track progression and how to pull trigger on some of these early bloomers and whatnot. Something balling, whose black squad has been doing amazingly well. Again, I mean, when it comes to tactics, him and Sao Paulo, if you look him up, oh yeah, sure, I think is okay, yeah, sure is his handle. So he's projected, or he was projected to be the 12th team in platinum, and he was sitting on second. I think he's right now in third spot. But again, I mean, how to optimize resources, run counter setups and whatnot. They're guys who are doing amazingly well. When it comes to market, it is definitely White House. Moi, again, shout out to him. He was one amazing resource. He's like, whenever I ask him some opinion on the prices and whatnot, he'll give me a range. If you buy him within $50 or $70, that's a great purchase. If you trickle over 70, then you might be in the risky territory. So, I mean, there are all these guys. I mean, who are very, very helpful in multiple aspects. So I try to learn as much as possible with regards to both tactics, market, uh, how to scout opponents, etc. So yeah, I mean, multiple guys who've been helping me out for 8, 9 months now.
it's funny. It feels like with seasons, there's been a couple times that I've wanted to say years. 7 years. Oh, they've been helping me for 7 years,
7 years, yeah.
referencing seasons. It feels like 7 years at times, um, which is a bit of the fun. But yeah, that's awesome. The community is great and it's interesting. There do seem to be little subject matter experts in different areas, um, and it's funny. I feel like so many people have a link back to Kev. And I feel like Kev must spend, I hope his bosses aren't listening, but Kev must spend a ton of time on Discord and on MFL because he's engaged in helping a ton of people. I heard him chatting with White House on Ramble, and White House gave a shout out to Tactics. I know he's helped me a ton. And I've seen plenty of other people that he's always willing to engage and share opinions and share what's working. And I've certainly had quite a few shortcuts that he's given me that I've just gotten stuck and been like, give me a copy paste and then let me work off from there because I need a starting point right now. I'm so lost. I don't know where the beginning of the trail is, but uh, that's awesome. So I'm noticing,
Kev is amazing. Yeah,
yeah,
Kev is again, I mean, whenever you go ask him a question, I mean, within the next hour and a half max, you would get a response back. And
yeah,
he's always open to helping out the community, right? I mean, that is a great trait to have. I mean, not everyone is so forthcoming as Kev is. So, yeah, I mean, a great guy to work with in the MFL community for sure.
for sure. So I'm noticing something peeking through your gallery, and I feel like a lot of the people, bigger names in the MFL community, have large galleries. They have 1,000 players or several hundred players, and they've got teams throughout the ranks. One of the things that stood out to me or just caught my attention was your gallery, one, the number of players, and then two, the number of teams, because it seems like the patterns from teams that are in the Diamond League, there seems to be kind of a similar pattern throughout. And your setup looked a little bit different. Okay, yeah, yours looks a little different as well. And I'll go back and highlight you have the one team in, I'm going to make sure I get this right. One team in Diamond, you have one Bronze team, and then Ice, and then you just added a second Spark team. So it was one Spark, one Ice, one Bronze, and one Diamond. Can you walk me through a little bit about your strategy and what you're trying to do and kind of how that all works together?
So, I mean, the initial thought process was to have a feeder system, right? So you have a couple of teams right below the main team. So the idea was let's have the main squad competing in gold or silver. The second team would be in the bronze division. The third would be in iron. So let's groom players, send them up. Everything is rosy. You don't need to spend anything for the next 10 seasons. Everything works as a charm, right? So that was the initial idea. But then again, soon I realized progression is not linear, right? So there's a lot of unknowns with progression.
Yeah.
I got about, I want to say, 4 or 5 80 to 83 rated strikers to start off with. Not a single one broke through into a Lego in the first couple of seasons, not even like plus twos or so. I was like, I mean, this is not working out. So what do I need to do differently? So then the focus shifted a little bit towards the top team. So how can I optimize the resources and focus on the top squad to get them a little bit more higher, and based on the returns from the top squad, then let's start getting these other pieces for the lower rated squads, so slowly we can get them into higher divisions as well. Again, I mean, it didn't quite work out as I planned. The first squad definitely kind of exceeded the expectations. It just shot up within a short span of time. But my second squad was actually in silver, and I was very close to getting that into gold, but that didn't work out. And since I again wanted to get few more pieces that's needed for the diamond division, unfortunately I had to let that squad go, squad on the club license as well. So now the idea is, okay, I have a bronze squad. I do have a lot of good pieces who are progressing well. Now let's try to get that bronze into silver and eventually into gold. So that's where I would like to settle. Uh, but considering where the market is now, I do have some Legos that are lingering around. So I was just talking to Snake and Ninja like earlier today and yesterday. I was like, should I just get a part share of a plat squad? I mean, I have like 5, 6 players available who are like proven performers at a plat level. So maybe there is a plat license who's looking for quite a bit of help. So maybe I can contribute to half the squad, and maybe I should give that a try rather than selling some of these players for undercut prices. So it's kind of all over the place. But yeah, in terms of adding licenses and whatnot, I mean, 4 or 5 is the absolute max that I would like to have, simply because I don't have time to focus on the tactics for more than the 5 squads I have right now. But yeah, I mean, some of these additional pieces, probably if I get 25-30% of a plat squad which is coming up, or gold squad that's coming up to a plat, or someone who's trying to hang on to plat, I mean, that might not be a good idea considering how slow the market is right.
Yeah. Um, do you kind of forecast the future and kind of reset with a question? So if the market goes back up, then certainly waiting to sell makes sense. If the market kind of stays where it is or dips a little bit more, um, then selling now would make sense. Are you forecasting that, or are you kind of thinking, it's just too unpredictable?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in the game for that long to be able to read trends yet. Again, I mean, I was listening to Wilbur talk about it for a little bit, right? So he's been in the game for about a couple of years. He's seen a couple of cycles with regards to market dip and whatnot. Again, I'm just thinking, let's wait and watch for a season or two how things come up and whatnot. Again, there are a lot of players who are getting into that retirement category bucket. So once those chunk of players get phased out of the game, there will definitely be a demand for newer players who are coming up or newer Legos. Uh,
Yeah,
Again, I mean, a great comparison is the screenshot or the squad that you pulled up earlier. The season 2 bronze was 81s through 83s with just a couple of Legos sprinkled on there. My current bronze squad, which I'm running, I think has like 7 or 8 Legos, which with other pieces being 83 or 84. So that's a good indicator of where the power curve is. But once these 35, 36 year olds retire, go out of the game, uh, I feel there will definitely be an increased demand for either packs or the players on the market as a whole.
yeah, it'll be interesting as the curve catches back up, kind of in the launch of the game. Um, Average age of players was a little bit higher. I think they switched it from 36 to 32 as the average age. Um, and there's a number, I want to say it's like 8,700, 87,000 is the ID number.
It
So
is
anybody below,
70, yeah, it is 77,000 something. Yeah,
okay.
Jimbo had it posted on a quiz. I keep asking him about it. Yeah, it is 77 or 78,000 odd. And I believe the retirement age moved from 37 to 35. And
Okay.
the mint age, I think, got increased by 2 or 3 as well. I don't remember exactly what that is on top of
Yeah.
my head, but yeah. So there has been a little bit of consolidation on both sides of the curve.
Yep. To your point, it'll be very interesting to see kind of how the winds change. I think the community is very, very solid at the top, where we look at the high end Legos and the competition there is very high. I'm curious to see like and we've already started to see it, but like some of the lower end players, like the 55 and the 65 rated players, how those will change and how those will move. Um, to me, I think that's going to be a bit more volatile. Whereas you're going to have Bob, Ronan, Big Wilbert, they're going to want to win. They're going to want to win Diamond. And as the supply goes down, I think that demand will stay consistent. To your point, I think that makes sense. I do worry some of the managers that are playing at the lower levels that thought they could come in and just sustain with 55 rated players as they start to see guys turn. Are they going to be willing to drop another $20, $30? I think the game's fun. I think that you would throw another $20 at something that you have fun. But the frustration factor could be there as well, where somebody says, even if they're unreasonable, hey, I thought I could throw $20 at this, like a PlayStation game, and just play it forever. And at a certain point in time, you'll have to reinvest here, unless you're very, very, very clever and basically just outpacing the game, outpacing the community. So I do think it'll be interesting, and I could see two different trends, one at the higher end and one at the lower end. But for sure. So it's interesting looking at some of the players on this team and the ratings and the ages, and kind of how the power curve is affected. One of the things, and I've been complaining about this for a while, and I've been trying to play devil's advocate with myself, but the slowdown of progression. And I know that was a big topic on the Ramble. And playing devil's advocate, one of the theories that I thought about that might make sense, because so many players in the game right now have that extended life cycle. I wonder if we have a ton of players that are beyond their prime age, and that basically what we're seeing is just too many players past their prime age because too many players have been given too long of a life cycle, um, and that the progression ratings will come back as the life cycles are shorter, because as the life cycles are shorter, a greater percentage of players are going to be in their prime age. So like if your prime age is 1 year, and the life cycle is 16 years, you're only going to have, what is that, like 6.5 or 7% in their prime age. But if the life cycle is 10 years, then 10% is going to be in their prime age. That prime age will grow more.
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll see. I heard some ideas as well. People saying um, that maybe it'll be more evenly distributed throughout the season, which I didn't necessarily think was the case. I think the reason that it slows down is that you get diminishing returns on game experience at a certain point. I want to say it's 10, and then again at 15. Jimbo's pulled it up, and I've tried to find it, but plenty of good theories around, plenty of good conspiracy theories. I do love a good conspiracy theory myself, and hopefully people don't take them too literally or too seriously, and hopefully people continue to have fun. But yeah, I find that really interesting, kind of the way that you've built the team. It was funny. It feels like you were too successful too fast. It's part of the storyline there, which is a great problem to have. And then financing the top end team obviously takes a big chunk, but you've done a wonderful job of putting together the Galacticos up there at the top.
Yeah, the fun part of it was building those pieces. I Again, I didn't think I would get there this fast, right? The idea was, let's try to build organically, but there were quite a few opportunistic buys in there. I'll give you a couple of examples. I think my right wing, he's a 30-year-old, 92 rated Lardos pair. So I was just like scrolling through the market like one morning, right? I got up at like 6:15 looking at the market, and he was listed for 600. I believe he was a 90 rated player, and his progression was really solid. And back then, again, this was 3-4 seasons back, a 90 rated player listed around for that price seemed quite cheap. And considering his progression, it was a no brainer move for me. So I was like, it's 90 rated, a little bit older, but again, anything 90 plus, 91 plus rated, if they are on the higher 20s, you can still risk it on them, because there's not a lot of options around the 90 plus rating mark. So that was one buy. So some of these I really got lucky with in terms of progression, right? Another guy was this 33-year-old I got just before this diamond season began, Fortunato. uh, and the buy was the day before rollover, right? So I was constantly thinking, what happens if the damn exclamation mark pops up tomorrow? So should I risk it? Should I not risk it? So again, the idea here was worst case scenario is you use him for 3 seasons. Would he earn enough MFL back to be able to justify the tag? So it was 20%, 25% more expensive than the potential MFL return. So I pulled the trigger. Lucky for me, next day, there's no retirement icon. The even luckier thing is he progresses like crazy in the first like week or so. So yeah, I mean, that's why I keep telling. I mean, stars definitely aligned for me when it comes to this diamond season. One of the other boys, again, Clancy, I think he was an 88 or an 89 rated when I got him. He just fast tracked into a 94 rated center back. Phenomenal stats. And when I purchased him, I believe he was playing in a bronze division team or maybe silver. And I plugged him into plat right away. This progression kind of, I don't know if that's the XP helps with a faster rate of progression, but yeah, he got up to 94 now. So yeah, I mean, a lot of these pieces, it was fun building the squad, but again, I mean, definitely got lucky with the progression curve.
I find a little humor that the team that he was on was a silver club called Road to Plat, and he dropped him and he went into Plat. So he was on the road to Plat. I don't know if the team got there, but yeah, that 23 years old, I think at this point everyone has seen pace is so critical this season in this engine, and 80 pace out of a center back is fantastic. So yeah, that's wonderful to have. One of the things that's tough is 23. You'd like to see more growth. It's difficult to go up from 94, and the biggest challenge is defense is capped out. So the most important stat, that the shortcut stat, is already capped out. Knowing that you're going to have several years to have him is going to be fantastic. And I'm looking close. He's below the cut on the ID, so he must have been minted at 16 or 17. You should have him for several years. That's awesome.
Quite a bit, yeah. I mean, he was his defense was capped even prior to this season. So I'm just looking at his progression for the current season. So he got a +2 overall, and his physical went up from an 80 to 86. So since his defense is capped, I think his physical is going up. I mean, not complaining whatsoever. But yeah, like you said, I mean, him being 23 is really good. Again, that's another part which I've always like actively tried to balance. So for every 30-year-old buy, I tried to balance it out with a 23, 24, or a 25-year-old. Uh, so at some point, like a week back, even I was looking at the MFL stats table. Galacticos had the youngest squad. For some reason, it's gone now. I don't know who is the youngest squad right now. So that's another thing which I've actively tried to balance out. That way, again, I mean, plan for 2 3 seasons at least in advance, and if any player ages past that 30 to 33-year-old mark, I can just focus on replacing those one or two positions rather than uh, try to do an overhaul of the squad within a 2 3 season window.
Yeah. Yep. Do you plan, looking a little bit about your transactions, it looks like you have been buying and selling packs primarily with your MFL to try and finance larger purchases towards the top of the pyramid, players in the top of the pyramid. Um, Having success in Diamond, do you think you're going to continue that trend and look to buy players, or do you see yourself buying some of the Lego packs?
Not for the next 3 to 4 seasons at least. I think I'm going to continue the current trend up until the team gets to a self sustaining state where whatever MFL comes out of the team can fund a buy which is used to improve the team. So, up until it gets to that point, I'm hoping to continue what I'm doing right now. And I feel there is a lot of value in doing this as well. Again, just to give an example, I believe the 325K Lego pack from a market value perspective is around $800 to $900 roughly. So for the same $800 to $900, if you're scouting properly, you should be able to get a solid 90 to 92 rated player depending on the position. Uh, so you get to pick and choose what position you need to backfill depending on the retirement or a sale, etc., uh, and not rely on the pack luck. And again, one other reason is I've been hurt a lot of times. I used to play Ultimate Team in FIFA, EAFC, for about 15 years. So ripped open thousands of packs. About 99% of the times it ends up being really hurtful. Like, no more packs, just stick to a discipline of churning over the MFL, pick the right slots to refill your squad. That way you strengthen when you need to strengthen, and then move ahead. And I've been like trying to tell Kev the same thing, but I mean, yeah, the degen in him comes out quite a bit. Uh, but yeah, that's the idea. At least for the next 3 to 4 seasons, if I can keep the squad in diamond or high plat, uh, once the market stabilizes a bit, then I probably might rip open
It's funny you mentioned FIFA, and it's funny how that's kind of shaped you. I've played FIFA quite a bit too, and I certainly have a bit of that remorse quite often from buying packs. But uh, MFL seems to be more fair. FIFA definitely seemed to have a motivation to give you bad packs, and MFL seems quite a bit more balanced. So the bias in there may not be the best support, but I think this strategy makes a ton of sense as I'm thinking through it with kind of the size of your gallery. It makes sense to get what you need versus if you had 18 teams and 650 players. You can be a little bit more flexible. Whatever position you get, you can just slot them into the team that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then manage from there, right? But when you have one diamond and then one bronze, you need to be a little bit more pointed in your decision making. 100%, that makes sense. As I've talked to you and as I've kind of watched, there's so many layers that follow all the same strategy. I've said this in the past. Trust was kind of the first one that I heard this crazy strategy from, and all of the different crazy ideas that he had lined up and made sense as a whole. It was 7 crazy ideas, but when you look at them holistically, you're like, yeah, that all works. Um, and it's fun to kind of hear different people that have had success in the game and realize, hey, all these different pieces link up. They're all towards the same goal, and they're all min-max towards the same goal. So that's certainly a fun piece. I do want to talk a little bit about kind of some of your tactics and X's and O's. You came into Diamond, and there was some chatter kind of in the Ramble group. You and Bob came up at the same time, and I know everyone was kind of saying, a lot of people in the Ramble chats were saying, they're going to stay up. We trust they're going to stay up. I saw some chat in the MFL chat, and I saw a funny interaction. Somebody said, I don't know who Sid is, but this is crazy. So a bit of fun dialogue and communication, but I think that tactics and hearing you speak on Ramble and on the Ramble had one of the watch along days that you were a part of. There's a couple of things that I've heard that have clicked. When did you kind of start prepping for season 8 in terms of individual game tactics?
This was right after, I believe, the rollover day was complete. I believe the contracts were bound to the squads or to the players, and I started running like friendlies right away. So one thing I was trying to not do much is tamper a lot during the course of the season. So I wanted to ensure I get to a baseline prior to the season, right? So from the baseline, let's call it baseline recipe, I just wanted to make sure there is a baseline recipe and there's only minimal modifications through the course of the season. Because the last thing you would want to do is you get 1 or 2 defeats and then you hit the reset button and you're lost. The games are coming thick and fast, and you get these double match days as well, right? Both the cup and the league, and you're forced into making changes that you didn't want to make. So I wanted to get to that point prior to the season. So I was just trying all sorts of crazy ideas to kind of make sure what's not working. Uh, so get to that starting point where you can rule out 80% of the slider or the individual instructions to say this is definitely not working. And that's where I got to that baseline recipe. And from there on, it's basically scouting the opponents, looking at what are the formations that they're using primarily, trying to uh, I try to look at least 2 to 3 games of each of the opponents. Again, I'm just talking Diamond League. The rest of the ones are just setting up a counter formation and rolling with it. But in terms of Diamond, I try to look up 2 or 3 games to see what is the depth they might be running. Are they having controlled instruction on the back line and the midfield? Is it fast-paced counters or a low-depth system? And once you kind of have an idea of what their setup might be, then there is a good chance that you could get to a very good counter setup for that. So that was the idea, and I think up until a day before, or a couple of days prior to the Diamond League starting, I was running a series of friendlies against Meta Mercenaries, Ronan. Uh, he was just beating me like left, right, and center. I wasn't even able to buy a win, but finally got to a setup which was kind of working against him. I think I had about 3 or 4 victories within a series of 10 games, and I thought I'd just stop right there. So something's working, something's clicked. So that's going to be my baseline. So let me stop the friendlies right there, a day ahead of the league starting. And from that point on, it was about setting the counter formations and just tweaking a little bit here or there. No major changes.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. One of the things that I found really interesting kind of was a light bulb. I think you and Bob were both on when the Ramble did the watch along, and Bob talked about building from his learnings from last season. And I think I assume probably all managers try and do that. Whatever those learnings are, whether it's tactics specifically or whether it's like last season, we saw a lot of long shots, like really long shots be really effective. And I know I had questions of like, hey, is that going to work again, or did they kind of patch that? But that was me reacting to last season in the friendlies. And one of the things that stood out to me, you guys were talking specifically about 4-2-4, and Bob kind of made a comment about last season, referencing last season. And your comment was it felt like you didn't even think about last season, that you just started completely fresh and you were so willing to remove any bias and just say, it's a new engine. Let's see how this goes. And then obviously you've put in a ton of work and kind of worked through some of that stuff. But um, I think so many people would never have gotten to that 4-2-4 and even tried it. And you've run it quite a few times and had quite a bit of success. Um, and that was something that clicked to me, was you were willing to remove those biases so quickly and say, hey, let's try something that hasn't worked in the past, because who knows? And then to your point a minute ago, if it doesn't work, you cross it off the list and you move on, but you found something that's working for you at least, by trying that. So I thought that was really cool. That was kind of a click moment for me. Do you think you'll find yourself in the second half of the season trying to utilize a 4-2-4 in some spots?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Watch out for the 4-2-4. It's definitely coming. Can't say against who, but on a serious note, that is one thing that I've definitely tried to take the bias out of the game altogether from season to season. Uh, a new engine, completely new. I shouldn't say completely new mechanics, but some new mechanics being added onto the engine. So you've seen seasons in the past where uh, dribbling was OP. A white player would just dribble right through a defender and would create a chance. Is it working in the new engine? We don't know. This season specifically, crossing seems a little bit of OP. Lot of I can't tell if it's low driven crosses or if it's uh, just aerial crosses coming into the box for a target man to head it home. But again, I mean, crossing seems OP compared to dribbling in the past. Uh, so while you build the squad, it's really important to be able to adapt to these. Uh, One thing I quickly found out that I was missing for this engine was a left wing back and a right wing back. Right into the season, like second game, third game, I played couple of five at the backs, and it seemed immensely OP. I did have a right wing back, luckily. Again, shout out to White House for loaning him out. Uh, so I was able to use him, but I didn't have a natural left wing back though.
Yeah.
And here I was being really proud, saying, "Oh, I could run 10 different formations, but I'm missing a left wing back." Right, so. It definitely helps being flexible with these multiple positions or multiple formations, because you may not figure it out up until you get to that initial stage of the season when the transfer window is shut already. Same thing
Yeah.
with wingers, right? I mean, with wingers, uh, no one was valuing wingers a lot. 92, 93 rated wingers was going for cheap couple of seasons back. Right now, you can find wingers on the market
Yeah.
because both the left wing, right wing positions are in high demand. So, uh, definitely have that flexibility around. I mean, even if you need one extra player to be sitting around, I would say it's a risk worth taking. Because if something clicks from a formation perspective or from a gameplay perspective through the season, then you'll have a major upper hand on most of your opponents.
Sure. One second. So one of the questions that I've asked on a couple of my previous podcasts was, do you value progression or promotion more? And kind of the theory behind that question was something you just alluded to. If you value progression more, it's more beneficial to run 16 or 17 players. If you value promotion a little bit more, you want to have that 20th or 21st player so you can go into a 5 back, so you can go to a wing formation, so you can go into a 4-4-2, and can't have both on both extremes. Everyone can't get max game time and have the ability to flex out into a ton of different positions. Those are obviously like two further extremes, but that was kind of where the question came from. And I was asking the question, and a lot of people responded naturally, kind of saying, well, I want both. And I balanced a little bit of both. And so I realized, okay, maybe the question's not so great. Maybe it's not the best to kind of phrase in that sense. But you kind of highlighted where the question came from, because I started off in the first seasons going heavier with teams and doing the same thing, right? The star players got 25 games, and then the mid level guys got 10, and then the bottom guys got 2 or 3 or 4. Um, and I'll have to go back and see if I was changing formations, but I think my general idea was to do the same thing. Left back goes in for left back, right back goes in for the right back, center mid goes in for the center mid. Um, and then talking with Kev, Kev was saying you got to be able to play rock paper scissors, and if you need to run a 4-3-3, you need wingers, and if you need to be able to run a 4-1-2 narrow, you need a bunch of center mids. And I'm like, this is squad building is quite a bit more complicated, and that was kind of a takeaway that I had from there. So kind of fun and interesting to see how the waves have gone as you've gone through, and talking about the five at the back. One of the things that I look forward to is the meta shifts that go on throughout the season itself. So one of the things that I'm anticipating in the future, and I don't know if it's season 10, 12, or 18, is like 2 games in, somebody posting tactics in Discord and saying 4-1-2 narrow, this is unbeatable, it's OP. And then everyone copy and pastes that, and everyone's just complaining and saying it's just whoever has the best players for this 4-1-2 narrow, and then somebody's going to break it and say, nope, the whatever 4-4-1-1 breaks this down, and these tactics break that, and then everyone's going to shift. I'm looking forward to that, like faster rock paper scissors, and I think we're going to see that. I kind of see that already this year. There was a couple people that kind of said, hey, five at the back's looking really good. And now there has been a bit of a rush for people to find wing backs to say, can I squeeze five in the back into certain formations in certain scenarios? And I am anticipating that people are going to start to find counters to that. I had a cup game where a really strong team ran a five at the back, only five at the back. And I was chatting with Kev, and I was like, Kev, how do I beat this? He was in one of Kev's ice leagues, and Kev lost to him with a better team than I have running the same formation. And I was like, Kev, he beat you, and your team is better than mine. How do I beat this? And I drew with him. Kev gave me some good tips. And I don't have, it was my Spark team. I don't have any position flexibility in the Spark team. The team's way too good. And I knew in Spark, I can set and forget and not have to be too tactically creative, and this team's going to win Spark. It probably will punish me in cups because I won't be able to flex in and out, but I'm in a 3-5-2 flat, and there's no flexibility. I have 16 or 17 players, and I'm like, I'm just going to win the league and get out. But I'm curious to see this second half of the season, teams that have that five at the back as a threat in their league. Okay, what's going to beat that? Is it a 4-4-2? Is it a 4-4-1-1? Is it a 4-2-3-1? To see kind of that rock paper scissor continue as people try and find the breaks to the current meta. I think that's one of the things that make tactics so fun. And as long as the engine stays really strong, we'll continue to be kind of this puzzle piece that is evolving as you're playing other managers. I look forward to that quite a bit.
No, absolutely. I mean, now that I think of it, I mean, most of this falls in line to what Ultimate Team used to, right? I mean, back when I was playing, there was a 15-day window or a 3-week window. There used to be weekend leagues. I believe there still is. But for 2 or 3 weekend leagues, 4-1-2-1-2 used to be the meta. Let's roll 4-1-2-1-2. Let's purchase players who can play cam, and their market used to shoot up. A couple of weeks later, they used to roll out a patch. 1-2-1-2 is nerfed. Now the new meta is 3-5-2. Suddenly, the center backs start exploding in price. It's kind of it's kind of fun drawing a parallel to that. But yeah, absolutely. I'll be really happy if one version of the engine stays consistent throughout, which I think it has over the last few seasons and this season as well. But yeah, I mean, the fun is how do you come up with a counter, right? I mean, it's not only a formation counter, because not all the 5-4-1s are similar, right? 1-5-4-1, your opponent could just sit really deep with a compact defense, and on attack he might be a little bit more wider. So how
Yeah.
do you beat him as opposed to a high pressing 5-4-1? So it is definitely valuable for one to take some time, scout into opponents, maybe have one or two of your mates run a couple of friendlies against your future opponent to see how his team plays, and then come up with a counteractive formation for that.
Yeah. Um, I mentioned this with Kev. I kind of assumed everyone uses this, but there is a good resource here for opponent finder. I think especially in kind of like the ice, stone, iron leagues, and you can put in overalls. I was doing this earlier today when we first started. I was running opponent finder, and if it loads, you have to have a little bit of patience. You can sort by formation, and it'll give you a bunch of different teams. To your point, all 5-4-1s are going to be a little bit different, and the individual player ratings that make up that overall are going to flex a bit as well. Somebody might have an 86 rated striker in stone that's carrying the overall rating quite a bit up, and that's going to be uncommon. So there are a little bit of thinking that you have to do rather than just copy paste and try and figure out. But you can still find takeaways. Hey, this isn't working against any of the 5-4-1s, so that's probably not going to work against my matchup. Or this works sometimes. So 5-4-1, just using it as an example, you can find it. Do the selection for ratings. I don't know if you do this ever.
I haven't tried it. What website is that? Is it MFL Stats or is this something different?
No, MFL Coach.
MFL Coach.
Yep, and then it's under the opponent finder. Two tools I use the most are the formation meta, which is funny because sometimes that'll steer me in the wrong direction where I'll say, oh, this formation beats this one in the rock, paper, scissors. And then I won't learn why, and I'll have the tactics set up wrong. I'll be like, I don't understand what went wrong. And then opponent finder. So if you're wanting to run some friendlies and get some practice against a 5-4-1. And the other thing I like about this, like I said, is you can look at multiple different ones. So if you're trying to get like a broader understanding of the 5-4-1, you can see different setups of it. So if you're like, oh, crossing works really well, go run it against another team and make sure that crossing didn't just work well against that team. So like maybe you run this this team here, the Hag Griffins, crossing works really well, and you're like, oh, I've solved it, I've got it, and then go down and run against the Hotspurs and then see if it sticks. So something that I've done. I don't know if I'm the best person to be taking advice from. I've had mixed results, but I do think that's a useful tool in general. I'm not sharing the right tab. Can you
Yeah, I was
see?
looking at the squad, but yeah, I'm looking at the opponent finder here. I mean, yeah, any kind of data that can help you is definitely useful. I mean, we don't have a lot of data, or we didn't have a lot of data prior to both MFL Coach and MFL Stats. So these two websites have a really useful tool in terms of both formation meta and opponent finder, which I wasn't even aware of. So yeah, absolutely. Again, it might not give you the solution, but it'll definitely give you the tools to get there. Right? At least you'll have a starting point to work with. And then it's up to you to fine tune those tactics to be able to beat that specific opponent. But without, I mean, some of these tools, you'll be just lost, right? I mean, you're just going to roll your dice, run a random formation, and get beaten. Instead, you have a starting point right here and start building off of.
Yeah, sure. This might be new. One of the other things I noticed on this is if you click the team, It'll bring up the standings in the Rivals Cup and the standings in the league. I noticed this today. I really like this for two reasons. I've seen
Cool.
some discussion in the MFL chat where somebody was saying, I run a bunch of friendlies against this team and it didn't work. And somebody combated and said, that team's last place in their league. Like their tactics suck. And I was like, that's a huge assumption, but it is an interesting thing to think about. So, two things that are interesting there are looking at the league, which can have an array of levels, and then looking at the cup, which is going to tell you how is this team performing against similarly rated
opponents.
Right. So, like, are their tactics good in similar rating opponents? Like an interesting example, my Raleigh team, my Spark team, they're just way too good for Spark. So they're killing Spark. So are my tactics good, or am I just better players than my opponents? My cup matches, I've not done well. So my setup is probably not great because I'm not beating similar opponents. So something that goes through my mind as I kind of try and work through good opponents to prep for a game. So like if I'm playing against a 4-2-2 and they're top of the league and they're outperforming their overall rating, I don't necessarily want to go find a team that's underperforming their rating, because I'm like, okay, maybe the team in my group has good tactics and they're winning because their tactics are good. Maybe it's a poor decision to go against a team that just loses because their tactics aren't so good. Something that goes through my head. I don't know if it's a perfect solution. I think breaking down the individual games and the individual setups like you do is probably a lot more successful. The challenge there is I think you have to kind of know what you're looking at and know what the counters are. Like rock, paper, scissors only works if you know that scissors beat paper. And in the rock, paper, scissors scenario, that's quite easy to understand. But if you say like, hey, what beats a high depth with a wide setup? I'm like, I have no idea. So you may be able to pick that out a little bit quicker and say, let me try this, or let me find some similar teams and try some different things against it. But it's part of the fun of this is it's so complex. There's so much that you can learn, and it's changing fast enough that it doesn't feel like it gets solved. And you're like, the game, I've learned, I've solved. So lots of fun.
No, I mean, yeah, problem solving, I think, is the perfect way to put it, right? I mean, you are posed with this challenge of you're going to be facing this opponent. You kind of know what setup he's going to run, right? I mean, sometimes you'll be able to narrow it down to like 3 formations, worst case scenario. So, what is the best foot forward for you to put your squad in a position where they can challenge the opponent, right? So, multiple moving pieces for sure. I mean, formation is just one thing. They could have a pacey winger or a pacey striker, and if you run a 40 paced center back, then you're definitely going to struggle. But again, how do you counter that? So if you're just comparing your center back against his striker, then can you play a low line? That way you're less prone to counters. But then how do you attack him? So these are all moving pieces that you kind of put it together and solve the puzzle. And one other thing that I was thinking about with regards to the friendlies and the counter formations you're talking about is R&R is what I call, right? It's a term that I use in my professional life. They call it repeatability and reproducibility, right? So you run one game, it could be variance, you beat the opponent 4-0 and you're like, oh, everything works. So I don't think that's enough of a sample size to be able to conclude that. So run 10 games, 15 games, how much of your result is repeatable? That takes that variance factor out completely, right? So for you to arrive at a proper solution, you'll need to be able to get to that repeatable and reproducible level. So that again is one thing that you can focus on to get better results. Yeah, I mean, everyone runs, there's a lot of moving pieces. I mean, how do the players individual instructions are set? Are the wide players instructed to cross more so they just stay wide and just ping in crosses? Are they taking more shots, which mean they move infield to take more shots? So how do you counter that? So there's quite a few interesting setups right now, and that is uh, one of the reasons why I'm really excited about the next engine already is because of the announcement that came out today. with regards to the shot chart or shot map and the heat map. So that'll give you a very good idea of the individual instruction that you need to set by player, right? If you have your wide men on high freedom to both attack and defend, are they doing that effectively? Or you just set them on medium freedom so that they are not exposing the defense a lot more and helping out a little bit, tracking back as well. So they're definitely providing us a lot more tools to work with. But again, they are just tools at the end of the day. How do you effectively use it is completely up to the manager, right? So the more time you invest into the game, the better you're going to get eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Um, you mentioned the R&R. That's been something that I know I've been struggling with. I think a lot of managers as well. The word variance is thrown around a lot, and I think it's used too aggressively, personally. But um, I'll run friendlies against the same team over and over and over. One of the things that's been challenging for me is like I'll do 4 games without changing anything and get 4 different outcomes, too good, too bad, and I'm kind of pulling my hair out, and I'm like, I don't know if what I'm trying is working or not. And to the point, you're looking at individual stuff, you're looking at individual highlights and individual stuff. Is one of the things that has impressed me most about your run in Diamond is I think as so many people are struggling to figure out that R&R piece, it feels like you have picked it up very quickly and found stuff that's worked. In talking with you, you saying, I wanted to have a really solid baseline before game one. Um, I have been very quick in seasons past, and this season too, to an extent, to do that knee jerk thing, right? Where you overcorrect and you just get too far away from your baseline. It's hard. Nobody likes to lose. If you're playing this game, you're competitive. And when you lose, you want to fix something. And sometimes nothing is wrong. You got beat by a better opponent. They got a lucky rebound goal. And you have to just say, that's okay. That's a 1 out of 10 loss. I'm going to keep the course. And at the end of the season, I'll do okay. Versus if you panic, which is what I do a lot, you break things that were working and such and such. So the game is a bit of a mental twist at times to just kind of stay calm and navigate through. But
No, it
no,
is. I mean, no one likes losing, right? I mean, everyone wants to win every game. Again, I mean, I just try to look at it from a problem solving approach. If, hey, let's throw in 10 results on a chart, it would ideally need to look like a bell curve. You are going to have results on both ends of the spectrum. And obviously, you'd want favorable results, a lot of favorable results towards the middle, right? So, and there will be outliers as well. So, not every game is going to go your way. Uh, but you'll need to patiently wait for your squad to hit the target where a lot of pieces fall around the target or towards the middle of the curve. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's again, I understand like both ends of the spectrum, right? It is easy for someone to say, hey, don't change anything drastically while you're winning, but when you lose 3 games on the trot, then you're absolutely, yeah, there will be a knee jerk, there will be a trigger to go and say, let me just reset this whole damn thing, run 20 more friendlies, then I'll find something new that works for me. So uh, yeah, it is that's the whole challenge. So
yeah,
it's fun.
for sure. Well, I'm out of questions. Anything that you want to add or anything that you want to shout out?
No, I mean, shout out to the community. I mean, a lot of great lads to work with, both on the Discord and uh, again on the Ramble pod as well. I mean, got to meet a lot of good people. So if anyone wants help with anything, I mean, definitely do hop in and hit any one of us up with any questions that you may have. And again, Kev is the go-to when it comes to questions. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely try helping out and whatnot. Uh, uh, Again, I mean, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. It's going to be fun. I didn't expect to go through the Titans. I luckily made it through with a draw. I think I needed like one goal in the last like 20 minutes or 15 minutes left, and ended up scoring against Ron John. It was a lucky draw there. Yeah, I mean, hoping for hoping for a deep cup run. The fixtures look fun. First game against Black, my good friend, just can't separate each other for some reason. But yeah, it's going to be a fun half of the season. Yeah, shout out to all the Ramble lads. Shout out to uh, Laird and Nep, again, consistently engaging MFL content. I mean, can't get enough of it. Uh, yeah, keep producing more quality content. And Ryan, thank you so much. I know we've been trying to have this for quite some time. Finally managed to get time in. And again, shout out to you. Put out some great content up until now. Keep going. And yeah, that's pretty much what I had.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me. I'm curious, kind of closing remarks, where this question has been asked to you a lot. I'm waiting for your opinion to change, but what are your expectations for the second half of the season?
I would still say fifth or sixth will make me happy, but anything higher than that will be really good, really solid. I mean, uh, overachieving. Anything higher than, like, I would say top four is overachievement for sure. But if I end up like fifth or sixth in the table, that'll be a great debut season in Diamond for sure.
Yeah. I keep asking myself, like, is this a miracle run that has to come back to earth, or are you gonna just keep out tacticking people and stay at the top the whole year? That's the fun part of the second half of the season that we'll get to watch and follow along. You have answered that question a lot with, I just don't want to get relegated, and pretty quickly I realized that that's too humble. Your team is good enough, and that your tactics, for sure, your tactics and your work that you deserve more than that. Deserve more credit than don't want to get relegated. But it'll be fun to watch. Certainly rooting for you. It's hard as I get familiar with more people in the higher ups. It's hard because I want to root for everybody, but you guys are playing each other. Again, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciated and enjoyed getting your perspective on a couple different things. For sure, we'll ask questions. I will say we probably have to slow down on pushing out Kev's name too much. His bandwidth is gonna fall too short, and he's gonna stop responding to us. We might need to slow down on sharing the cheat sheets there. But in all seriousness, thank you so much. Thank you to you and the rest of the community, and we'll have you back very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And yeah, catch up with you soon, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks.